If you are an A-level student that wants to pursue medicine in Pakistan but don't know where to start from, don't know what lies ahead, and you've clicked on the right video. अब देखो जब मैं A-level student था ना, मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं था कि मैं किधर हूँ, किधर जाना है. मुझे बस यही पता था कि मेरा जो पैशन है medicine के लिए, but I didn't really know where to start from. This is why I recommend you guys please watch this video. This is going to clear all your concepts. Firstly, my name is Ryan Yusufi. I'm right now a second year MBBS student. And yeah, I've been through the system, the A-levels phase, the MDCAT phase, the post-MDCAT phase, the post-MDCAT phase. You know what? I've even transferred universities. So, I've just been through it all. So I wanted to get this video out there because again, I was stuck in a similar situation back then. So let's just get right into it. So I've made this whole roadmap over here and I'll be explaining you guys, going over the steps of kya karna hai, what I did, what you should do. There were some mistakes that I made through my process though. So hopefully you guys can just go over the video and see what lies within your best interests. So yeah. So सबसे पहले शुरू करते हैं A-levels से. Now honestly A-levels was a crazy journey for me. Not just academically but also in terms of extracurriculars वगैरह. I had a lot of fun. But let's just get into the basics, okay? First of all, let's talk about the subjects. If you want to pursue medicine in Pakistan, there are only 3 subjects that you need. You just need biochem and physics. Or when it comes to extra subjects, if you're feeling a bit special, you might take one. Like again, अगर तुमने अपना दिमाग लगाया हुआ है, जहन लगाया हुआ है, दिल लगाया हुआ है कि मैंने डॉक्टर ही बनना है, मैंने MBBS ही करना है, तो फिर क्या ही ख्वार क्यों होना है तुमने एक और एक्स्ट्रा सब्जेक्ट लेके. You get my point? So biochem, physics, you have those, you're good to go. Also, I want you guys to research as well when it comes to your choice of university. या तुमने किधर से MBBS करना है, right? So basically हमारे पास पाकिस्तान में 2 systems है, private और public, ठीक है? First of all, we have the public unis, which are the ones that you really hear about. So King Edward हो गया, you hear about Allama Iqbal Medical College. All of those guys are pretty elite, And for those type of unis, you need to have a really high merit, which unfortunately puts us A-level students at a disadvantage because of the equivalency. जो हम थोड़ी देर बाद बात करेंगे. So how do you decide which uni suits best for you? Again, go over their website. I would recommend 3 things. Number 1, जिधर भी तुम जाओगे ना, तुम्हारा medical degree same ही होगा. MBBS is written on every single university that you go into, and when you leave, my degree bhi MBBS ki hogi. It's not going to make that much of a difference. So try choosing a university that is local to you so that you feel a bit more at home, especially for those who want to live in hostel. मैं खुद hostel में नहीं ठहरा, लेकिन I just know from my friends कि वहाँ जो living situations है, it gets really tough, and also the homesickness and whatnot. Essentially choose a uni that suits your best interests. Now, it should be a bit local, it should follow a modular system, it should be a bit modern, and preferably it should be ECFMG sponsored. Basically ECFMG sponsorship, WHO World Directory Schools of Medicine, इसका कोई नाम है. These 2 stamps are gonna certify कि जो भी university में तुम जाओगे, the students that are within that university or are graduating are eligible for the USMLE. तो हमारे पास again हमारे पास 2 चीज़ें, ECFMG sponsorship and also we have the WHO World Directory School of Medicine. ठीक है, इन दोनों में जो है ना, you need to make sure your uni lies within those ranges. That's one way, unless you want to do your FCPS वगैरह, which is again within Pakistan, so I would recommend going to any uni that just gives the MBBS degree. Next up, let's talk about the paper pattern. Like if you guys might recall, or if you're still in A-levels, A-levels में जो questions होते हैं, they usually represent you as data, graphs, long form questions, 4-5 markers, ठीक है? और MCQs जो होते हैं, those are usually only within the first year, फिर second year में जाके ख़त्म ही हो जाते हैं. So over here it's completely different. You're gonna have to approach questions that are completely from the textbooks of FSC. Most of them are ratta, matlab book से ही पढ़ के जाना होगा, और वही जो book में लिखा हुआ है, even if it contradicts the laws of nature, you just have to put that answer in, ठीक है? But also there is 30% conceptual understanding. Matlab sometimes they'll give you questions like in physics where you have to actually start calculating without a calculator, by the way. So if you can understand the paper pattern, you kind of know which direction you're heading into when it comes to the MDCAT. And also, most importantly, roadmap जो मैं आप लोगों को अभी बता रहा हूँ, this is my own roadmap, which I'm going to be guiding you guys on. But again, at the end of this video, I want you guys to think everything out for yourself. This is obviously not going to take a day, take a week maybe. Essentially, that's going to help you out, put you on the right track, and guide you as you move along your MDCAT journey. Now, that's it for subjects and research. when it comes to A levels. But if you're at A levels, this is the best thing to do right now. Now for पढ़ाई मैंने क्या किया था कि I understood कि I can't really prepare for the FSC syllabus. वो भी 2-3 महीनों में after the A levels exams. So what I decided was I joined an academy, ठीक है, and this was like some Aga Khan test की academy. And my main goal was just to understand the FSC syllabus. मेरा ये नहीं था कि मैं अब उस दिन से ही पढ़ना शुरू करूँगा. I'm gonna study so hard and like give the MDCAT and like A levels at the same time. It would be so cool. No, I was being a bit realistic. I was like A levels जारी है, but I need to make sure कि I know कि आगे जाके क्या आ जाना है. And this is why I joined an academy, I believe, in late 2023, क्योंकि हमारे exams होने थे 2024 May June. So I was like, मेरी A levels की तैयारी वैसी ख़त्म होने वाली है. I might start seeing कि what's on the other side of the river, you know. So this is why I wasn't really serious about पढ़ाई MDCAT in that stage. Again, I was joining a class, and that class took place over the weekends, which was really good. क्योंकि weekdays पे होते तो फिर मैं ना ही कर पाता. This weekend's only cohort class that I joined really helped me because it aligned me to how I should study. क्योंकि एक तो teachers भी थे उधर जो समझा रहे थे कि ऐसे करना है, ऐसे करना है. And yeah, essentially, I was like, you know what? After my A-level exams ends, it won't be as bad because I'll have prior knowledge कि मैंने क्या करना है. Moving on to what might just be the worst phase, that is the MDCAT phase. MDCAT phase, अब मैं किधर से शुरू करूँ यार? This is tough. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys are going through the journey, I'm not gonna spoil it. You're gonna find out for yourselves. Essentially, you need to know कि you need a lot of discipline, consistency, and also determination. Because there's gonna be times where your energy levels are this high and then they just crash down. That's because of Pakistan. Well, I'm not gonna lie, यहाँ बहुत uncertainty है, and कभी कभार कुछ सालों में MDCAT बहुत ही अच्छा होता है, कुछ साल में ऊपर नीचे हो रहा होता है, कभी repeat हो रहा होता है. So that's what unfortunately happened to us. Anyways, let's get into the schematics. So for the MDCAT phase, academy, academy. If you have no prior knowledge, I would suggest you take an academy. क्योंकि you'll be very lost in the beginning, especially after your A-levels exam. You're gonna be like, यार finally A-levels खत्म हो गया, मैं छुट्टियाँ ले सकता हूँ, I can finish Breaking Bad or some shit. लेकिन नहीं, that's not the case because you need to actually plan out for what's gonna happen in the future. 2-3 महीने हो गए MDCAT के लिए, and those are very crucial moments. That is why I would suggest you either find a mentor अगर academy लेनी भी नहीं है, or find an academy. लोग कहते हैं कि FSC syllabus और A-level syllabus बहुत ही like similar है. But I don't think that's the case. Because from what I can recall in 2024, I had to do so many new topics which I had no idea of. And कुछ topics FSC के, they were like extended versions of A-level topics. For example, vectors में जो है ना हमने काफ़ी आसान ही किया था कि vector can be split into 2 components. अब FSC का मैं topic पढ़ रहा हूँ, they're like, I don't know what's happening with vectors, bro. You guys will find out yourself. Like, it was very confusing. Formula में vector form भी एक होता है, which I didn't really get. That is just one example. So again, academy if you completely know, or find a mentor if you want to be in this journey alone. Now let's go over the types of exams. ये exam जो है ना, you should have researched about this during your A-level time period. लेकिन मैं बता देता हूँ. Well, first of all, we're gonna have the MDCAT. ठीक है. Now what's up with the MDCAT? MDCAT is gonna be the nationalized exam जो I would say 90% of unis consider. ठीक है. इसके बगैर your chances of entering MBBS will be very unlikely. तो ये must है, ये देना पड़ेगा. And with MDCAT, you need to know that as an A-level student, it gets a bit tough because you want your aggregate to at least be above 85% minimum. And why am I saying this? That's because during my times, even private universities, unke jo merit hai, they rose. Like for example, Shifa at my time was like around 91%, which was crazy. And that is why I'm going to emphasize again and again about how hardworking, disciplined, and consistent you need to be to get these exams done. There are a few unis that actually don't require the MDCAT, and those are the NUMS universities. NUMS is going to be again an affiliation, an organization, jo bhi kehna chaho, and there are a bunch of universities that come under it. Like for example, most of the army universities, like for example, we have the AMU, we have the CMHs, Lahore, Kharia, वगैरह. Now for the NMDCAT, you need to know that NMDCAT is given for 2 types of NUMS universities. एक होते हैं attached और एक होते हैं affiliated. Attached are the ones that completely rely on this, and their whole processing is going to be under the NUMS organization. ठीक है? And then we have the affiliated universities that again follow the NUMS criteria. They give the NUMS exam, लेकिन उसके बाद जो है ना, they have their own laws. Like for example, we have Foundation, Fazaiya, NUST. These guys, they rely on the NUMS MDCAT. Then we have other universities that require their own tests. Most famous being the Aga Khan test, which I also gave. उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा बता दूंगा in the future. And then we also have tests recently which got introduced again, which is the Shifa test. And then we also have, I believe, the Ziauddin का अपना test होता है. Now the real question arises, how did I study for MDCAT? तो मैंने थोड़ा सा brief कर लिया था like A levels में when I joined that course, ठीक है, just to get familiar with the idea कि FSC कैसा होगा. So I did that, and essentially that helped me a lot because when I moved into the post A level phase, MDCAT phase, I had a clear like roadmap ahead of me. कि मैंने क्या क्या करना है. So the first thing I did was I started this whole journey off by preparing for the Aga Khan test. For Aga Khan test में उस time पे there was like so much things, like I believe कि Aga Khan का जो syllabus था 2024 में, it outweighed the normal MDCAT, the NUMS MDCAT, सब कुछ. So I was preparing for that. I made flashcards using Anki, whatever you want to call it. Okay. I spent a lot of time making those flashcards. I used the book. I use the videos. What books did I use? Us time pe MDCAT wasn't nationalized, but I preferred the federal book and the Punjab book. So I thought, okay, why should I just waste my time preparing from like Khyber Pakhtunkhwa ki kitab? That doesn't make sense. So then I made my flashcards. I reviewed them regularly. And then I tried finding online resources. I tried joining WhatsApp groups. And I believe like when everything finished MDCAT wise, I was in like 10-20 groups, bro. वो MDCAT wale jo nahi hote guidance wale. So that kind of helped as well because all the resources would circulate over there, or I would be practicing past papers वगैरह उस group chat से. ठीक है. One thing that I do regret, however, is despite everything, I do believe कि I didn't practice enough when it came to past papers. And I partly blame myself for this because A levels के बाद I was so free. I was like, यार क्या ख्वारी आ गई MDCAT की, like I might just relax. So I took everything slow and steady, you know. There's students that study like 6-7 hours a day. That's pretty crazy to me. मेरे से कभी ये होता भी नहीं था, especially as someone that would like study 1-2 hours in A levels. तो फिर जो है ना मैंने chill माहौल रखा. I would like cover 3-4 topics a day, and essentially I left out a lot of time for past papers. और past papers ही वही चीज़ होती है जिससे you try to understand and get the concept of the FSC style questions, ठीक है. So I would say study from resources, from notes, from videos. Kips के academy join करते हो, उनके अपने notes हो गए. There's so many notes which you can buy. There's books you can buy which compiles all the books, which I would suggest you get. Because at the end of the day, A level का content और FSC का content, their base principles are the same. Like पता है कि उधर भी vector है, इधर भी vector है. So just buy the notes which other teachers, your professors have compiled for the MDCAT. Prioritize more time on past papers. And when you get questions wrong, write them down. I have a separate notepad that I remember कि मैंने बनाए थे past papers के लिए. Or whenever I would get a question wrong, I would note it down over there. I remember making crazy mnemonics. Like for example, shout out to this one teacher I had for chemistry. I did, what is it called? For the periodic table. So for the periodic table, I believe I did Libib, Canopny, lithium, beryllium. Anyways, that's kind of out of the topic. Like, and my point to you is okay, study in a way where you study smart. Notes, mnemonics, anything that you can do that can help you out, and prioritize KIPS ke past papers वगैरह. Now, moving on to the post MDCAT phase. This phase is essentially when you're done with all your exams, and you're gonna feel like shit if I'm being honest. You don't know if you've got the grades that you wanted to achieve. Everything is very uncertain, and I get it, it's a very confusing time. And I would say that the hardships that you had to bear in the MDCAT phase वो जाके directly translate होते थे उसके बाद ही post MDCAT phase में, and it just never stops, to be honest. And my greatest advice to you would be जो होना था हो गया. All you can do now is actually chill, because this is the time you actually get to enjoy that post A-level holidays that you wanted. ठीक है, relax. अगर admission हो भी नहीं जाता तो खैर है, you can have many other options. अगले साल दे दो या कुछ और करना चाह रहे हो, you have a lot of time to think about it, bro. So the first thing I would do when getting off the MDCAT phase is talk to your seniors. जो भी university तुम जाना चाहते हो, if you have contacts with those seniors, you can get them through groups. You can ask any KIPS के लोग which you were like, with teachers that might know. उनसे जाके पूछो कि how is uni, what should I prepare for? Just keep your brain engaged with the fact कि तुम अभी medical uni में जाने वाले हो और ये process हो चुका है. उसके अलावा you need to know कि you have to keep all the dates in mind. NUMS universities के अपने हो गए, registrations खुलेंगे, you have to enter all the data and stuff. All the medical unis when it comes to private या public, उनका अपना portal होता है, and they have their lists displayed according to the merit. So please go over those, don't miss it. I know some people who missed it. Schools say they had to give a gap year, and this really sucked. Now 2024 was a roller coaster. यार मैं किधर से शुरू करूँ? It was so messed up. Like I'm not even joking. It was like the worst thing a student could ever go through. एक तो the UHS exam, because in our time the MDCAT was not nationalized, like हमारा different provinces का होता था ना, तो UHS got really easy exams, we got mediocre exams, बाकियों का भी ऐसे ही था. तो what that meant was कि जो लोग जिन्होंने UHS दिया था, they got really high grades, they qualified for universities in Islamabad, which जो पहले इस्लामाबाद वाले आसानी से हो जाते थे. Like शिफा के अंदर usually the merit would close at around 85 to 89, और मेरे साल में it had to just close at 91, bro, which is honestly a heartbreaker, क्योंकि I was thinking कि अगर आखान में नहीं होता तो फिर शिफा में हो जाएगा, and I had like 89% overall. I forgot to mention this, like my scores were 175 out of 200, and in the NUMS MDCAT, I don't exactly remember the score, but I remember the aggregate, which was around 84.2 or something. And that is essentially what you need to keep in mind before entering this. कि मुश्किल होगा, लेकिन ये बस एक साल की बात है, उसके बाद your life will be a straight path. Like I believe कि compared to all other degrees, medicine pathway is like very direct and forward. You know कि तुमने MDCAT करना है, उसके बाद MBBS करना है, उसके बाद that's why they talk about like postgraduate specialization. Those things are already in mind. But when it comes to other degrees, like don't want to throw shade, like after bachelor's you don't really know what you're going to end up with. So हम आ जाते हैं medical university में. Now medical university, it's going to be a very special moment for you. You're going to receive your white coat. But do remember to get to this point, you have to just start from the basic. If you can follow my roadmap properly, I guarantee you that you're going to have a clear vision and you'll know what to be prepared for and what not to do. Because I essentially laid out my whole journey and also gave you guys tips on what to do. Like, जैसे मैं किसी को counsel कर रहा हूँ. Anyhow, thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, do let me know. काफी time हो चुका है मैंने post किया, and yeah, I do get it. It's mainly because of my exams, my prof exams, you know. और MBBS वैसे ही मुश्किल है, बहुत सारी चीज़ें करनी होती है on the sideline. But I'll be uploading again, hopefully. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And yeah, I guess that's it. See you guys in the near future. Take care, Allah Hafiz.